Peace, Prince Ash here, back with another vlog. Yeah, I don't know if this is going to be a part of the Rambling On series, but you know, it's another rant or another ramble on. Yeah, nothing wrong with that, you know. Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna bring it back to the music again, which I'm gonna link in the description. Basically, actually, I'll take it back to pre-COVID, like very close to COVID, pre-COVID, like a couple of months before it hit. I was living in my granny's house. My granny had passed away, so no one would. I was in the house on my own, out in the middle of nowhere in Mayo in the west of Ireland, and obviously, I was basically cut off from civilization. I had my phone and stuff, but you know, I had cousins living basically across a field, but they never really called over at the time, you know, which I'm not holding that against them, like, but you know, they didn't call over, and you know, I'd spend days upon days kind of on my own with no human contact, and I was suffering in sobriety, really suffering, but I was sober. So it was like the first time in 5 years that I had actually sobered up, and that's kind of when I started to feel really guilty, and I could almost say I developed a conscience, but I did have a conscience prior to that, but this is when my conscience was really eating away at me, for mistakes I made in the past, which I won't go into right now, but I was in a place where I was suicidal, right? But I wasn't actively suicidal. I had suicidal ideations. I wanted to be dead. I was in a hell of a lot of pain, but I just said, I'll carry on, I'll ride this out. And I was too scared to kill myself. There was a fear of dying, first of all. Then there was the fear of, like, what would my family go through if I killed myself? I've already put them through so much, like, and yeah, that's pretty much it, why I didn't do it. Like, I didn't want to break my family's heart, my brother and sister, my mother, my cousins, my aunties, my uncles. Didn't want to fucking hurt them any more than I already had in my addiction, like, so that made me kind of just carry on. That's the only way I could describe it. I carried on. I just said, fuck it, I'll live. And I was writing a lot of music. And when I released my first project pre-COVID as well, very, I'm saying it again, very close to COVID, but pre-COVID. And it was on SoundCloud and shit. And basically, I realized I had a hell of a lot more music to make and a lot of improvements to make in my game in terms of rapping and all the elements that go into making a good rap song. It's not like I was trying to make a mainstream banger, but I was trying to make good storytelling music and real raw and emotional music. And definitely I was doing that in my first project, but it wasn't executed correctly. I'll put it that way. And the mix wasn't the way it should have sounded. It was the best I could do at the time, and it was a start, and it was my first experience rapping into a microphone and going to a studio and shit like that, and it was exciting. And as soon as I dropped that first project, I had something to cancel out my suicidal ideations. I tell myself, you know what, I have more music to make. I have more projects to release. I have a point to prove as well. And, you know, I was looking into the future for once. And I was looking into the future in a positive light, like, you know. And that's when I realized music kind of gave me a purpose, like, you know. And, you know, I suppose I wouldn't go as far as to say it saved me from suicide, but it gave me a sense of purpose, and it helped me at the darkest time of my life. Like, you know, I could say that 4 years prior to COVID and a bit during COVID and post-COVID, so far that's the darkest time in my life. And I lost my dad in 2011 to cancer. But I found just in the way I was thinking, feeling, and behaving, that period of addiction was a lot darker than when my dad died. Even though that was extremely painful and sad and depressing and horrible to go through, like. But I truly lost myself in addiction, like. There's only so many fucking times I can say sorry as well, like, you know. I say it a goddamn lot, and I apologize a lot, and I suppose there's a certain bridge I have to cross, and I'll cross it when I get there, and I'll not worry about these things so much anyway. But anyway, the point I'm making is music gave me a purpose, and music helped me in my darkest times, and it still continues to help me and still continues to give me a purpose, because right now I'm looking into the future, and what I want for myself is to finish my third album, and I'm looking even further. It's like, what's in the pipeline in the future, and obviously I have life plans and shit, pretty basic stuff, like, to be honest, because I don't know what the fuck to do with myself in my life, but I have a bit of clarity with music. I want to release 3, 4, 5, 3 more albums, at least. That's what I have in the plans. 5, The Legend of Ashitaka's, 5 editions, or 5 editions of that album, of that series. I believe there's going to be 5 of them, and then whatever I release after that will go under a different name. So that'll take me, it could take me into my mid-30s. And I don't care if I'm still making rap music as a 35-year-old, or look, who knows what I'm going to be like at 35, or who knows what my life is going to be like, but at the very least I'd hope that I still write and rap, because it's given me so much, and it's a great release, and it's a place where I find solace, and it's something I enjoy doing, and it's a part of me. It's a deeply ingrained part of me, like, and I've devoted so much to the music, and so that's what the future looks like music wise. So when I had nowhere else to turn and I was living alone in my granny's house, I had music. Yeah. And I'm damn grateful for it, like, you know. And I'm pretty proud of the music I've made so far. I'll link it in the description. This is a quote from Bukowski, but I'm going to say it as well, and I mean it. It's like, I think my music is really powerful stuff. That's one part of the quote. A second part of the quote, he goes on to say, it's nice and quiet now, and I like that, and I have my privacy and my peace. I'm paraphrasing a little bit now, but he says, when I die, that's when I'm really going to be discovered. It's Bukowski. It's going to be sickening. That's a bit of a quote from Bukowski, and who knows, man. If I died today, maybe all of a sudden people would hear my music and be moved by it. But look, that's kind of a ridiculous way to think anyway. But listening to Bukowski's quote, I can't help but identify with what he's saying, or feel it, or it resonates with me, like, you know. But the first part of the quote I can absolutely repeat as my own words. I think my music is pretty powerful stuff, and it paints a picture, and it's mostly quite dark music and gritty and raw. But I wouldn't have done things any differently looking back at it. I know with each project I released, it was pretty much the best I could do. I did give it up my all. I wrote songs every single day and tried to get better every single day, and tried to write something better than what I wrote last week or yesterday, you know. And that's what makes it powerful, like. And it's nice that I can talk here and have people kind of get to know me a little bit as well outside the music, and reveal myself, you know. And I got to be real here as well, you know. And that's wonderful. And I've a few little outlets in my life, and there is hardly a day that goes by that I don't create something. Like, I've always been creating shit, like, every day, and it's kind of where my strengths lie right now, but who knows, that'll change. Like, I have friends that are good at working with their hands, like putting up walls, or fucking building shit, or figuring shit out that way. I'm not really any good at that. Like, when it comes to creating shit, like vlogs, or fucking making music, photography, even writing a script to a movie, I've done that before, and shit like that. Like, it's where my passion lies right now. And unfortunately, like, none of that shit is making me any money. And I don't think it's because I'm shit at it. It's just because I haven't really been discovered. Like, I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think. Like, it is a game of luck in certain ways, and 21 Savage kind of put it out. He said, I think you got to be chosen, you know. And Snoop Dogg said, I like that chosen one shit. He agreed. Like, you know, maybe you do have to fucking be chosen to prosper, or even make a living off the music, you know. I wish I could make a living off this shit, and who knows, I'm going to keep going and following the dream. All I want is to make a living off it. I'm not looking for millions. Like, I'm looking to pay rent, and I'm looking to eat food. You know, maybe buy some clothes and some nice jerseys anyway. But alas, that's not the case. So pretty soon I'm going to be getting a part-time job, just to keep me going. Like, I'll still do this shit. Like, there'll always be time for this shit. And that's the way it is, like. And onward and upward. Peace, Prince Ash.